Okay, peepsels. So the second one is going to be kind of an interesting color effect that you can apply to photos. So I'm going to use, of course, my fluffy little dog picture here of my puppy. And we're going to create a edit that appears something like this. So it's kind of bleaching out the sides a little bit and adding kind of like a color overlay throughout the entire image. So to start with, we are going to add a new layer. So at the bottom of your layer panel, remember the new layer icon looks like a little piece of paper with the corner flipped up. Click that. And we are going to set the blending mode to soft light. And then we're going to change the opacity to around 50. From here, we're going to use our gradient tool. This is going to help us create kind of like an overlay of color throughout the entire image. So you're going to get the gradient tool. Remember, it's located with the paint bucket on your Photoshop toolbar. And then for our colors, our foreground color, which is the top color option here, we're going to choose a light blue color. And then for our background color, which is obviously the background of that blue, we're going to set to kind of like a light purple or a lavender. Okay, so make sure at the top of your screen of Photoshop you have it set to a linear gradient. And then from here we're just going to drag our line across and create our color overlay. And I'm actually pretty happy with how that one turned out right off the bat. If you're not happy with it, you can always stretch more lines to kind of create a difference of the colors and how they mix together. So, next item on this tutorial is going to be creating kind of like the edges. So on this image, if you notice, we've kind of bleached out the edges a little bit and the image just kind of fades from nothing, and then it slowly gets into the color and the detail. So we need a new layer once again. We're going to get the paintbrush tool. Make sure you have a soft brush that has the hardness set at 0. We are going to select our foreground color to a purple. So kind of like a medium purple. And then from here we're just going to kind of paint around the edges. So I'm going to start about halfway down the middle of the picture and then use that for my purple edge. We can reset our color and we're going to go up and get kind of like a light pink. And again, you guys can do this with any color of your choice. You just kind of want them to be on the medium tone to light side of your color options. And the last step here is to set your blending mode to screen. And you can kind of see how that begins to bleach out those edges. Now the last thing that we're going to do is kind of add a fade to those colors. So go to Filter, Blur, and then the Gaussian Blur. Set your radius to 250, and you can already see how that has faded those edges, those harsh edges that were created. Hit OK. And now we need to do the other side of the image. So once it's done processing, there we go. New layer. Go ahead and set your blending mode to screen. Paintbrush, foreground color, let's do blue this time. And I am going to overlap these colors just a little bit so that you can't tell the difference between where I did the purple and where I'm doing the blue. And then go back in with a lighter blue, kind of just on the edge of that blue color we first put down. And then again, Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, radius at 250, hit OK. Process, there we go. And then finally a last new layer. We're going to do white. So foreground color, white. And this is only going to be on the 4 edges. So I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller and just worry about doing the edges of my picture. four corners. Go back through filter blur, Gaussian blur, radius set at 250. It will blur those edges out a little bit. And then this is a pretty nicely colored image. Now the one last thing that I did to the example picture was I preset and I changed the contrast and the brightness just a little bit on the background picture. So you can choose to do that too if you feel like it got too light as you were applying color. So if you just want to do that, go back to your background image, image adjustments, contrast, and then just increase your contrast a little bit. I think I put mine around 40. And then hit OK. And then you have a pretty nice balanced image with a nice color effect on top of it.